Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving headfirst into the world of high school geometry. We're going to talk about the big mental shift you have to make to not just get through it, but to actually master it. Okay, let's start with this quote because it hits the nail on the head. For so many students, that first high school geometry test is a total shock. Why? Because the rules of the game have completely changed. In other classes, you can kind of be close and still get by. But in geometry, nope, close doesn't count. Think about it. In middle school, you could sort of get the material and still do pretty well. But in geometry, sort of gets you a 0. You either clear the bar or you don't. It is a world of right and wrong, and that demands a whole new level of thinking. So here's the most important thing to hear. That first test isn't about you being bad at math. It's a signal. It's the game telling you that you need a brand new playbook for a much tougher league. So let's build that playbook right now. Success, real success, starts with a completely new way of studying. And it's not about how long you study, it's all about how you study. We've got to move past just recognizing things and get to a place where you can actually use them on your own. So a teacher named Mr. Wang breaks this down into 3 stages. Stage 1 is easy, right? Just get all the stuff, the notes, the handouts. Stage 2 is the trap. This is where most students stop. They listen to the explanation and think, yeah, okay, that makes sense. But the real goal, the only thing that matters on a test, is stage 3. And this slide right here shows you the huge difference between passive and active learning. Understanding an idea when someone else says it is not, I repeat, not the same as being able to execute it under pressure. That comfy feeling of, oh yeah, I get it, in class, that's stage 2. Being able to solve a problem on a blank sheet of paper all by yourself, that is stage 3. You can't just think you're at stage 3. You have to physically prove it to yourself. This is the new standard. It means no peeking at your notes, no quick hint from a friend, just you and the problem. You have to actually sit down and do it from start to finish without any help. That's how you know you're ready. Okay, so once you've got the right mindset, you need the right tools. Geometry is basically a new language, and you have to learn how to take notes on all its technical terms so you can pull them out of your brain in an instant. Every single new vocab word needs these 3 parts in your notes. The definition tells you what it is, the picture shows you what it looks like, and the formula tells you what it does. Let's actually put this into practice with one of the most important ideas in all of geometry, parallel lines. All right, when you see a picture like this one, your brain needs to be trained to immediately start hunting for 2 key shapes. These are like little visual shortcuts that let you move from just knowing the rules to using them fast. And here's the first one. If you can trace the letter Z, see it there? Using the parallel lines, the angles tucked into those corners, kind of like the armpits of the Z, those are called alternate interior angles. And the key is, they are always equal. The second shape to look for is the letter C. Now, the 2 angles that are trapped inside the C are called same-side interior angles. These guys aren't equal. Instead, they have a different relationship. They always add up to 180 degrees. Spotting the Z and the C is a game changer. Okay, now let's see how all of this stuff comes together for the ultimate test of your geometry skills, the 2-column proof. This is where you have to take everything you know and build a logical argument from scratch. I want you to think of yourself as a lawyer in a courtroom. In the statements column, you make a claim, but that's not enough. In the reasons column, you have to provide the cold, hard evidence, the geometric rule that proves your statement is true. Every single claim needs a reason. So what's the strategy? First, just write down the freebies, the givens, the problem hands you. Then look at the picture. What can you see for yourself? Maybe some vertical angles? Write those down as separate facts. Only after you've laid out all your evidence do you start connecting the dots to build your case. You'll also have this powerful tool called the converse. Okay, so a normal theorem says something like, if lines are parallel, then their angles are equal. The converse just flips it around. It says, if you can prove these angles are equal, then you can prove the lines must be parallel. It's how you work backwards to prove lines are parallel. So let's zoom out. What's the real point of all of this, beyond just passing a class? What are you actually learning? Well, you're training your brain to think in a totally new and powerful way. At the end of the day, winning at geometry isn't about memorizing 100 rules. It's about developing your logical sequencing skills. It's the ability to constantly ask yourself, what do I know? How do I know it's true? And based on that, what is the very next thing I'm allowed to say? That skill, That skill will help you for the rest of your life. By mastering this new way of thinking, you're not just solving for X anymore. You're building an unshakable, undeniable argument from the ground up. You're learning how to prove, with absolute certainty, why your conclusion is the only one possible. You're learning how to build a case.